All right, hey YouTube. Wanted to do a video while I'm in the delivery truck running to the other store uh, on the cost of community. Preppers and Christians are both huge on being in community, right, and being in good community with good people and all that, right? There's other people on YouTube that have done videos talking about what is a good community, how do you build a good community, all that kind of stuff, right? It's something I've noticed in the last, honestly, like 6 months or so, is people don't know what it actually is going to cost them. Because they think that by getting in community, it means that they don't have to give anything and they get to receive everything. And there are seasons for that. But if the community is healthy, if the community is operating properly, it costs you something. And in the biblical sense of that, what we're shown in the Bible is you have to be vulnerable and open to your community, both in things where you're succeeding and doing well and in areas where you're struggling, whether that's sin or whatever, because the Bible even talks about, confess your sins one to another to be forgiven, because sin hates the light, right? If you keep it in the shadows, you can keep doing it, and it'll keep destroying you, versus if you bring it out in front of people that can help hold you accountable and lift you up out of it. So that's something that it will cost you to be in community. The other thing is there's a time cost, and there's honestly a financial cost if you're in a good community. And I'm not talking about this is a club, you got to pay your dues kind of thing, right? But the people I'm close to, I call it my family of choice. Because everybody has a family you're born into, right? And then as you get older and mature, you get to choose who is family, who has gotten the right to be in that position and even stay in that position, right? And so that's going to cost something, right? Because you take care of the people you care about. That's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you financial resources. It's going to cost energy. And this also gets into the idea the Bible talks about, the Greek word for the community that they use there is oikos, which is your circles, your spheres of influence, right? And the closer people get to you, the smaller those groups tend to get, right? Some people are like, oh, I've got 50 best friends. No, you don't. You don't. I don't care who you are. You ain't got 50 best friends. You might have 2 or 3 on a good day. Doesn't mean you don't have a bunch of people you're close with, a bunch of people you care about, but that what a true best friend is, you can't sustain more than a couple of those in all actuality. But that even gets to how I am. I don't refer to people, if you're close to me, if you're in my circles that I actually hang out with a lot, I don't refer to you as a friend. I refer to you as, what is going on? There's cops everywhere. But I refer to you as my family. So you're a brother or you're a sister, right? And if you fall into one of those positions, that is an instant access that you have to me. It's a sacrifice that I am making off the rip, that you can contact me whenever you need me. You reach out, and so long as I can, I will do everything within my power to help, whether that's I'm just praying or God's put me in a position to actually physically meet whatever the need is. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like, that's what I'm doing. And I learned at a young age that you have to do that. Otherwise, you dilute your relationships, and you exhaust yourself, and you wind up being a people pleaser. Whether you want to be or not, that's what will happen if you do not set your boundaries and put people in their proper place. And this isn't, this person's better than this person. No, it's the way I do it. I go up, if you don't like the way I do this, because it's Christ-based, tough. I don't know what to tell you. But the way I do it is when I meet somebody, I ask God, who is this person to me? Who is this person supposed to be in my life? And whatever God says, that's who that person is. So this video is going to go up beginning of 2026. I'm recording it October 1st of 2025. But it's going to go up in the beginning of the new year. And I wanted to do it that way, just as a reminder, as people are making your New Year's resolutions and your plans and your goals for the new year. Some of you are going to make plans to spend more time with friends and family. And this is as an encouragement to you in that pursuit of building your community, to make sure that you go to God and prayerfully consider who warrants that time, who deserves that extra effort and time from you to keep both relationships biblical and healthy. So none of this is to condemn people or to make you feel bad, or like if you're calling everybody your best friend that you're just the worst person in the world, or you're just horribly wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to be realistic on who you give your time and energy to and when. And as believers, we don't get to make that choice in and of ourselves. We have to take it to God and follow what He tells us to do. Now, yes, there are some standards that are set out in the Bible, specifically when it comes to family, right? It talks about like who's your family. So if you're married, your wife is obviously your family. If you have kids, your kids are obviously your family. So that group takes priority over other groups, because without the health of that family unit, no other group that you are a part of will operate properly or healthily the way it is supposed to. And now this isn't a get your life cleaned up before you go trying to be in community with other people. No, this is to understand that, let's say your marriage is falling apart because y'all don't know how to communicate. Well, then your community building with that in mind must then be, let us get around another couple or a couple of other couples that are further down this road of marriage and spirituality than we are, and learn everything we can from them on what it means to be married and how to communicate, and have them help us walk out the biblical standards of marriage. And that will help restore your marriage the way it's supposed to be, and restore, honestly, your life back into order and into balance. But again, that only works, and communication only works with vulnerability in these contexts, right? And part of vulnerability, honestly, is sitting down and having a conversation with people on what does this relationship mean to me? What does this relationship mean to you? Qualify your words. So I've had to do this a couple of times where I sit down with people and I've explained to them, this is who you are to me. You are family, you are whatever. That gives you access to me. And there's several people that I've had to sit down with because they use similar words. And I'm like, you're not operating like those words mean this. And they're like, well, that's because to me they don't. And I was like, okay, well, that needs to be stated because I already told you how I view these words and use them. So you need to make sure that we are on the same page when you are using those words to avoid hurting each other for nothing. We're humans. We're going to screw up already, and there's already going to be pain. There's already going to be hardships in life and in relationships and community. So why make it harder? But bringing this back again to the whole point of the video, the cost of community. It will cost you something to have people that care about you. And I've said it jokingly to people before because they get frustrated because I get on them for certain things or constantly remind them to do certain things like take care of themselves or whatever. And people right. They're like, oh yeah, I know, it sucks to have someone that actually cares about you. Sorry, I gotta watch the road for a second. Real intently. Come on, dude. Thank you. So it is going to suck and it's going to hurt at points because we're human and we don't always want what we're saying that we want. Sorry, I didn't mean to knock my phone over. There we go. That should be good enough to get us to the end here. We're almost up. So it's going to cost you something. And again, if this is a biblical relationship, a biblical community, it's going to cost you your comfort. Even if you're hurting and you just want to be comforted, the comfort that you receive from a healthy community is not always going to look the way you want it to. It's not going to just be, oh, it's okay, you're doing so good, and we're so proud of you. Yeah, there's a time and a place for that, but part of the comfort is also going to look like, yeah, that sucks, I'm sorry it sucks, you need to stop and you need to move on. And again, these aren't things that you do to be dismissive or abusive to people. It's because you notice that we've gone past the identification and mourning part of the pain or sadness or whatever, right? And now we're just wallowing in it. So it's time to start moving. So I can't just identify your pain with you. I need to start giving you ways out of that pain. And like I gave the example to somebody in one of my friends, one of my groups from the church, where she was like, yeah, I have a problem identifying as the victim from my pains and from situations, right? So she's too aware of the slights against her. And so I told her, I was like, so when you call on community, what you're really going to need is you're going to need people that will identify that, yes, that hurt, that sucked, and they're going to go, and we're done with that, let's go play games. Like, we're not talking about it, we're not doing that, because she, in those moments, identified that it doesn't want to talk to resolve. She wants to talk to wallow and gain sympathy for no reason. So when that's the case, you can't indulge that. It will hurt the people you say that you love. The same thing also goes for if you know someone's doing something that is going to hurt them. You know, as I record this, we're not too far removed from the Charlie Kirk situation and his assassination. And what people are starting to wake up to is the fact that if you know truth and you don't say anything, you're a coward. And especially as believers, we are called to speak the truth in love. And if you just accept whatever somebody says as their truth, that's good for you. You don't love them, you hate them. Truth is not a changing metric. Understanding can be a changing metric, but the truth doesn't change. So when people are like, oh, well, you know, this is what used to be true and this is now what's true. No, there's a difference between this is what we understood and this is now what we know. Because once you know the truth, you can't operate with what you understood, because what you understood doesn't matter if it goes against what is true. So a good example is, as believers, we cannot support gay, lesbian, homosexual, all that kind of stuff, right? Because we know it to be wrong and a perversion of God's standard. So, and that's not to say like, well, we're going to go out and preach fire and brimstone to you because you're out living a gay lifestyle or whatever. No, but if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to be like, man, God's got better for you. That ain't it. That's a lie from the devil. It's not going to fill the thing that you're searching to be filled. And again, this isn't because we are so much better than them, but because God has showed us the truth. We all have our own struggles and issues. So again, like I said before, community is going to cost you your comfort. It's going to cost you your ability to be silent. If you want good community, if you want loving community, you have to speak truth. And again, this can't be your truth. This can't be somebody else's truth. This has to be God's truth, because that is the never-changing foundation of the world. So again, this is just to be an encouragement, guys, as we go into this new year, as we get everything going, and we start trying to improve our lives again and do everything that we feel we need to, or feel like God's calling us to, more importantly. Make sure you understand what it's going to cost you and if it's truly worth it to you. Is it's one thing to say, I serve the Lord, I'll die for the Lord, whatever. It's another thing to live it out. So you need to determine what the cost is, and if you're willing to pay it. And if you are, never stop. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all have a good one. Peace.